to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
Sometimes you gotta have that PSA because you know what? Sometimes there's just so many things going on that you don't know what people are thinking. Oh, it's a Monday, so it must be a giant Monday. It is Monday. We have the Combine starting tomorrow. That should be fun. It'll be March 1st. We would be 16th, of course, is the start of the NFL new season, or the new year, I should say. And then we also have the 14th is the day that's starting with illegal tampering. Period is available. So, you know what? The Giants should have some interesting times coming on right now. We're going to have to make some cuts to get under the salary cap before the start of the new season. So, you know what? Some things are going to have to be done. Some things are going to have to be made. And we also, like I said, we got the Combine coming up, and we got the stupid rumor mill started again. You got to love Giant beat writers, and I'm not picking on them in general, but there was a Giant beat writer, we'll call him Jordan, because we don't want to call anyone out, reported on Sunday that the NFC East team is increasingly unlikely to pick up the fifth-year option on Daniel Jones' contract before the May deadline or so. Okay, that's hard-hitting news. And it says it seems likely they will pass since they have yet to show any real consistency in his first 3 seasons as starting quarterback. It would mean guaranteeing $20+ million in 2023. It seems inevitable they will let Jones play out the year, and if he has a great season, this will present a great problem. Wow! Hard-hitting analysis. And of course, the Twitter sphere ran wild with it. The Giants aren't picking up their option. The Giants aren't going to do it. The Giants are passing on the option. It's come out from a Giant beat writer. The Giants aren't picking up the option. No. He never said that. He never pointed that out. He never said the Giants aren't doing it. He said it looks like it seems unlikely. And anyone that watches football will tell you the same thing. Yeah, it seems very unlikely they're going to pick up a $20 million option on a guy that they're going into year 4 and still have no idea what he is doing. How is this news? How did the Twitter sphere run with the fact that a beat writer mentioned in his own opinion that the Giants aren't going to pick up his option? And I love it. It seems likely they will pass, since he's yet to show any really. He's not saying the Giants have come out and said they're going to pass. He's not saying that the Giants said they're going to come out and pass. The Giants aren't. He didn't say that he spoke to someone inside the organization, the Giant organization, and they're going to get out and pass. No, all he just says, it seems likely. And then the Twitter sphere ran amok. That a beat writer with no inside information about anything is saying that Giants are going to pick up the option on Daniel Jones, which we probably all already knew already. Yikes. The Combine is going to be starting soon, the NFL Combine, so the Giants, of course, are going to be there. They're going to be looking at some guys, going to be looking at some players, and I was thinking to myself, who will the Giants be maybe targeting in the Combine? Who might they be looking after? And I think that's a great question. And we're going to start with the offensive line. If you want, actually, technically the Combine starts today. You have quarterbacks and tight ends, wide receivers arriving today for pre-exams and interviews. Then on the March 1st, you're going to have, that's when it's really going to start. You're going to have pre-exams and interviews for the offensive linemen, running backs, and special teams, then for quarterbacks, tight ends, and wide receivers. And then you got Wednesday coming in. It's going to be defensive line, linebackers. The big day is going to be televised live on March 3rd, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., and that's where you're going to start looking at things. And like I said, the big day is going to be the quarterback day when we get the quarterbacks out on the field and we're going to see them throw and see what they can do and get an idea. I mean, like I said, the Giants probably aren't going to, I don't think the Giants are going to be all enthralled with it, reference to the quarterback situation, but we are going to see Malik Willis, tout his wares. There's already talk about him going to Denver. The Denver seems to be very high on Malik. They're calling him Mile High Malik. So, I think that's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch the workouts and everything else for the Combine. So I'm kind of excited to see what's going on. Of course, everyone's prognosticating the Giants going to offensive line maybe in the first 2 rounds. Or at least somewhere in the first 2 rounds. I'm still thinking, like I said, people are talking about Linderbaum, who of course is the top center of the draft. I think he's going to have to have a great Combine to solidify maybe any delusions of him going in the top 10. He's a great athlete. The dude used to be a wrestler. He's got to work on a couple things on his games. He's slightly undersized. weighing no more than 300 pounds. So you're gonna have to get some weight on him and make sure that you keep his movement intact and his ability to shift. So you're gonna have to run. You're gonna have to run through there. Guy I want to see also is what's his name? Cole Strange. He's out of Tennessee, Chattanooga. He seems to be a guy that's been kind of. You always have the guy that jets up the boards, and I'm wondering if he's going to be that guy. He was evidently a present. He's evidently, like I said, he's a guy he's a mover. He's a mover on the board right now. I don't know exactly why, but he's a guy that everyone's been talking about. And you got to see if how he's going to compete against the top centers. I believe he played center for the first time at the Senior Bowl, if I remember correctly. So, like I said, you got to see how he does on the field drills and kind of see. You got to see. I mean, you got to really just see his technique and just kind of see what he can do and kind of go from there. I mean, so I'd be curious to see him. The other guy I'm curious to see is the kid out of Texas A&M, Kenyon Green. So he's another guy that I think he's another guy that's moving up. He's kind of been moving up the draft boards as well. He's a guard. So you got to see what his upside is going to be. You got to see what his potential is going to be. He seems to have some versatility, what they're saying. He's a guy, this worries me. They're like, he blocks with a nasty streak. Yeah, I heard the same thing about Will Hernandez. And Will Hernandez, outside of that rookie season, just kind of lost his composure and kind of turned nasty a little bit. So we got to just get an idea of what he looks like. He's got the prototypical size. Some say he's got good technique. He's supposed to be very, very, very athletic. They say that he is a capable pass protector. I don't know what that means, that he's capable. Does that mean they don't think that he has the necessary technique and ability to do what needs to be done? Or does he just need to learn more into the position? So I'm kind of curious about that as well. From what I remember of a Texas A&M, I would say that he is he's a pretty good run blocker. I think he's a good road paver. So that I'd be curious as that as well. Some of the guys that I also want to see on the defensive line position, you're not going to get all the big guys that you want to go there because, the top guys aren't going to go. I'd like to see Thomas Booker out of Sanford, see what he can do. It's going to be interesting. I want to see Travis Jones also out of UConn. I think he is an interesting, I think he'd be an interesting guy to watch. Same with Zachary Carter out of Florida. I mean, I think these are a couple defensive line guys that I would like to see what they can do and keep an eye on them. And deference if you're going to be looking into regards to the linebacker, I want to see Chance Campbell out of Mississippi, and I think that he would be an interesting. I'm not. I know Devin Lloyd was invited. I don't know if he's going to show up. What he's going to do. I want to see also Josh Ross out of Michigan. I think that's another name and like I said, I'm looking at these guys that aren't these big name guys. And the other one I want to see is probably going to be Troy Anderson out of Montana State. Let's see. He's a guy that's extremely athletic. So I think he's going to really, really shine when it comes to the on-field drills because of his athleticism. But again, Mike Mamula will tell you, athleticism does not convert yourself into an NFL player. So we're going to have to look. You're going to have to take a look and see. I want to see on the defensive backside. I want to see Chris Steele out of Southern Cal. So I think he'd be interesting. I think he's going to be interesting to watch. JT Woods out of Butler is another name that I've been hearing about over and over again. So Joshua Thompson out of Texas is another name that I want to keep. Just want to keep an eye on because you're always going to have the Derek Stingley Jr. You're going to see how he's kind of fallen out of favor recently on the draft boards. And he seems to be being a little bit overshadowed now by Sauce Gardner. And what's his name? Trent McDuffie. Is it McDuffie out of Washington? So I think those are another guys to keep an eye on. Martin Emerson out of Mississippi State is another gentleman that I want to kind of see what he can do within the drills. And I want to check out a couple safeties. I'm not really sitting there looking at, like I said, I don't want Kyle Hamilton because we have Xavier McKinney, but I would like to keep an eye on Nick Cross out of Maryland, Quentin Lake out of UCLA. And my other favorite one, it's interesting because, again, I think he's another guy that's going to excel in the on-field drills, and he's got a great name. Smoke Monday out of Auburn. So there's just a couple names, like I said, that I got my eye on that I'm going to be watching, because I'm going to be watching the Combine. Evan Neal also is going to be also out for the Combine. Evan Neal's not going to be at the Combine, so he's going to be he's not going to be showing his wares, and there's really no need to. But like I said, it's going to be an interesting week coming up, so we're going to have to do a video and see how the Combine goes. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports, talk, and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, if you subscribe, ring that big thing, it means that'd be awesome.